Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Ground Zero Files. Today we're going to talk about carbs and fats. We've talked about protein. Carbs and fats is what makes up the rest. So let's get into it. So we're going to start off on carbs. Now, I'm just going to put out a blanket statement that you've probably heard before. Carbs make you fat. That is bullshit. So, carbs are an essential energy source. One part of the body that only feeds from carbs is the brain. So if we don't take in carbs, our brain will no longer function properly. So keep that in mind. But carbs do not make us fat. Overeating calories make us fat. Simple as that. So carbs are not the enemy at all. Too much calories is the enemy. So do not think that carbs are the enemy. Carbs, if anything, are something we absolutely need. Especially if you're a sportsman or a high level athlete, carbs are essential. Carbs are going to be what we use for fuel whenever we do high energy exercise. Whenever we're doing anything that requires big explosive movements, big strong movements, anything fast, anything really intense, anytime where our heart rate goes really high, carbs is going to be used. Excuse me. Cut that. So, let's go over a few nice, easy, clean carb sources. Number one that I like, sweet potato. Sweet potato is a very easy carb source, relatively low in calories, but very clean. So sweet potato. Number two, brown rice. Brown rice, very simple and easy way to get some protein, carbs in. Relatively easy to make, relatively easy to eat, but just make sure it's brown rice. Number three, wholemeal bread and or wraps, muffins, pittas, whatever you want to use. I don't mind, but wholemeal is the important part, I think. Whether you want to do a wrap, whether you want to do a sandwich, whether you want to do a pitta, whether you want to do a toasted muffin with egg on top, whatever it is, just look for something that's wholemeal bread, I suppose, is what would come under as a wholemeal bread. And the last carb source I want to give is white potato. So obviously sweet potato is talked about a lot of being great, but the macronutrient difference between white potato and sweet potato is very negligible. So don't be afraid of white potato either. Just obviously it's portion size more than anything. So there you go. 4 really clean carb sources. And now we'll talk about fats. So another blanket statement that we might have heard here is fats are bad for you. Yet another bullshit statement. Fats are just another essential energy source that we use. As for carbs being used for more high intensity work and stuff where our heart rate is very high and we're operating at a high work rate, fats does the lower end of the scale. So when we're walking, when we're resting, when we're doing stuff that doesn't require mass amounts of energy, fat is the energy source we'll draw on at that point. So fat is essential is what we'll use most of the time for an energy source. Now, some people would prefer to have more carbs over fats, and some folk will operate better off of higher fats and less carbs. That is totally person to person. That's not really set for everyone. Now that we know what they both do, let's have a look at some good fat sources. Now, fat sources, the clean fat sources, is a little bit more difficult. Most people get this part wrong. So let's get started on that. So number one for clean fat sources is avocado. Everyone knows avocado now. It's well publicized. Avocado, the superfood. Avocado is a great fat source. So that's number one. Number two, let's go nuts. So anything from cashews to almonds to you name it, mixed nuts. This is another good fat source, nuts. Number 3 is kind of like your butters, like nut butters. So like your peanut butters, almond butters, those type of things. I know this could probably come under nuts, but I'm going to separate them into that because people do like to think of peanut butter as a great thing. Obviously, the right amount is great. Don't overdo it. It's a good source for fat, but don't overdo it. The next one is actual fats. So, things like coconut oil, avocado oil, just any type of oil really, as long as they're used in the right amounts. Obviously, we would always recommend things like avocado oil and coconut oil as the top. They seem to be the best. So if you're going to cook any of your food, look for things like coconut oil. I personally use the coconut oil spray. It's like 1 calorie per spray and it's coconut oil. That's easy way to do everything, is those oil sprays. So there you go. That's four fat sources and 4 carb sources in the carb section as well. There are a lot more. You can look into it, but for now, that's us. That was the Ground Zero files. Thank you guys. If you could pop on our YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe, we'd much appreciate it. That's here. If you could also go to our Instagram, we'd much appreciate that as well. That's also now here. And if you could hop over to Facebook and give our page a like, that would be a massive help as well. And that is now here too. Thank you guys.